I was shocked, even though I'd heard about this, and that's why I came to Ukraine. It was a traumatic experience. You couldn't see the border post, so the queue was that long. And so they divide us into sections. Now, those sections, they had a certain length of them, but whenever the Ukrainian border guards saw my face, they stopped a section in the middle, a third of the way, however long, they came out and they stopped it. And I tried to worm myself into the middle to avoid that in the next section. They jumped in between everybody, put their arm out. There was one who put his arm out. So when I came, he came and stood with his arms open and grabbed me to hold me back while he's waving the Ukrainian women forward. And this happened repeatedly. I came at 10 o'clock in the morning. By the time I got to the border, to the post, where then it was 23 hours in the evening. So the whole time it's this psychological, it's insulting, it's humiliating, the racism was real. And at this point, about 3 a.m., I looked like I could feel I am going to collapse. I felt I've got high blood pressure. I've had a number of strokes, and I had taken my medication. I was really feeling not well at this point. I was not well at all. So I sat down. I put a pile with my blankets and bags and just sank down on the floor. But it was 80% psychological, because at this point the racism, the oppression, it was too much. It was real. And so I sat down on my bags, and they looked through. They suddenly noticed I disappeared. So then they started to look between. Then they could see me there, and they looked at my face, and they said, "You come here." They got scared, and they said, "You come here." And they pulled me out and they put me. I said, "Sit here on a chair. You'll go next to the passport office," because then they didn't want the scandal if I collapsed. Anyway, I left. I got my stamp. Then I could see there was a bus, and the bus had been filled up. So despite my tiredness, I jogged a little bit towards this minibus. I could count 3 seats, and I thought, yes, I can get on this bus. The Polish soldier put his arm out like that, big guy. He was like, to me, and he said to the driver, "Close." Then I can see his face where he thinks, "Uh-oh, this is what they've been talking about, and I'm doing it now." Then he's like, he knocked on the door and said, "Open up." He actually carried my bag onto the bus, and then he says, "Go on the bus," because then he realized I am doing exactly that. So I tried to contact reception. They weren't available. 6 a.m. I went down to reception to make sure they could extend one more night for my room. And she refused. She said, "No, this is for Ukrainian women and children." The day before, I'd been to dinner. I had come down and had my dinner. And I paid for breakfast as well. I went to breakfast. They were all white businessmen in that hotel. I saw one Ukrainian lady, her child, and her mother. They were the only Ukrainians I saw in that hotel. But I have heard from Black people on the internet that they were being rejected from all hotels in Poland. My motivation to help the Black students was really, you have been humiliated, you've been psychologically battered, you need to get a flight. We could also have got them the bus. We could have. But I said, you need to feel uplifted. If you arrive too late in your connections transit city, we'll get you a hotel. Again, so that you feel like you are being treated with dignity and like a human being.